All right.
All right, welcome back, GBA Nation. Another edition of the GBA Show Live coming to you again. It is Wednesday night, April 29th, 2020. And, we're just chomping at the bits to get back out on the court. Hopefully everything opens up soon and we can get out there. But joined tonight with Jeff Ferguson, owner of GBA Basketball. Jeff, can you hear me?
All good.
All good. All right, and tonight,
no Thomas Strasser, right?
Yeah, no Tommy tonight. Tommy actually had to do real work, so he had a meeting at 7 o'clock he had to attend to, so he wasn't able to join us tonight. But I believe he'll be back with us tomorrow night, as we'll be going live with Coach Mike Alanis, head women's basketball coach at Wheeling University. But with that being said, we're very excited to have our next guest here on. Join us on GBA Live.
Yeah, you want to tell a little bit about her before we bring her on?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I mean, we had worked. She was a high Dominican assistant coach for how many years was she there?
I believe 7. I believe she was there 7 years.
Yeah, she done a great job there. So she has she played, coached in Ohio. So it's good to bring her back. She helped us get a tournament started at Ohio Dominican, and she done a lot of stuff for us in the background to get everything and get it approved, and she really took care of us, so that's awesome. But yeah, it was looking forward to talking to her. She took a full-time job in Tennessee.
A head coaching job.
Yeah.
Head coaching job. She had a full-time job. She took a head coaching job.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Coaching job, and is doing well there. So be interested to see the difference between Ohio and where she's at now, and the transition from assistant coach to head coach. So it'll be good.
Absolutely. So with that being said, let's get this show started. All right, welcome back, and we are joined with head coach Christian Brothers University, Jesse Carmack. Jess, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, very good to see you. Glad you were able to take some time and join us here on the show.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Even though you bailed on Ohio and took off on us, so that's okay.
I did. I thought I would just try to maybe explore some new cities. I like to travel, and I've never lived in Memphis, so why not?
Well, there's nothing wrong with Memphis. The king of barbecue, right?
King of barbecue, blues music. There's a lot to do, a lot going on, which has been so fun to kind of see city.
Is that where all the Elvis stuff is?
Yeah, so Elvis' is recording studio. B.B. King recorded there. I'm still learning a lot about it. But yeah, Elvis' studio, I actually live like a mile away from Sunset Studios, which is really cool. There's tour buses there all the time. B.B. King's down on Beale Street is a really big deal. Great music, great food, live music everywhere. It's a really fun city.
That's awesome. How about filling us in? Let's tell us what's going on in the life of being a head coach compared to the assistant coach, and fill us in on how your first season went, and all the fun things the head coaching brings to the table.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize the amount of stress. No, I'm just kidding. The amount of gray hairs that I got this year was crazy, which I have to diet, and I think I did a pretty good job there. But I think the biggest thing is you're in control. All eyes are on you, and I am so fortunate to work with Lindsay Warren at Ohio Dominican for 7 years, and being able to be with her when she started that program or took over that program. She gave me so much experience. She let me do a lot of things to help really prepare me for this position. And so I'm just so thankful for my time with her and her leadership, her mentorship, and then most importantly, her friendship. But yeah, all eyes are on you. Decisions being made all day, every day. And I didn't quite, I thought I quite understood it, but you never really do until you get in this position. I call her all the time. I'm like, Linz, I'm so sorry I did this to you as an assistant. But she's like, no, this is what's great. This is growth. This is opportunity. And I walked in to a program that had just a tremendous group of girls. I started the first day of school, so I didn't know any of these kids. They're mostly from Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and so very new to me since I've spent the majority of my career in the Midwest, in Ohio, and in the Northern Kentucky area. But they welcomed me with open arms, and they were tremendous. We did a lot better than what a lot of people expected from us, with the majority only having like 9 kids who were healthy enough to play. We finished 11-13 and 10-10 in conference, which was an improvement from the season prior. But the biggest thing for them is I just wanted to show them so much love and support and say, I'm here for you. I want to do this with you, and let's do this together. And so we spent a lot of the season building trust and building that family connection. And they took it and they ran with it and they bought in, which was so fun. It was just a fun group of girls. I laughed every day. And you know, as frustrated as I could get as a head coach, they made me laugh. They made me laugh all the time. And that's just what's so much joy, because I love being able to, you know, I get to coach the game of basketball, which is, you know, obviously my favorite sport, but I also get to impact lives and lives of young women who are really trying to figure out who they are. And so I'm just so thankful that I was able to be given this opportunity to kind of take over this program and make it my own. I have a tremendous assistant coach who came with me from Seattle, Washington. She drove. So it's been very fun with her. We're adding another assistant, a former player at Ohio Dominican, to our staff this year, Emily Thomas. So it's just, I'm looking forward to next year. It'll be exciting. It'll be fun. I think the kids are like, okay, now we know what to expect. And I'm like, yep, this is what it is. And let's have fun with it.
Well, I know we've known you for about 9 years now, and you helped us, get the GBA Panther Classic actually was started there, which has turned out to be one of the biggest tournaments in Columbus during your time. But I know over those years, becoming friends and talking and stuff, that this is a position you've always wanted. You just always said you just wait for the right fit. So it sounds like, it's been a good fit for you and a good transition, getting through year one.
It has been. And it's all about God's timing. Honestly, I was in a position, it was, late July when I was presented this opportunity. And it was hard. It was a tough decision because I love Ohio Dominican. I love those players. I love that program. I love that university. And obviously I love Columbus, Ohio. But this is a dream. This is growth. This is opportunity. This is to help me become who I want to become. And that's always been to be a head coach and run a program. And I don't think I would have been, I was ready to do it at the time that it was presented itself, because, it's something that I've always prayed about and talked with Lindsay about, but I wasn't just going to go chase it. So it came to me. I had a great conversation with our athletic director, Brian Summers. Was able to come down for an interview and was hired shortly after, and it just fit. Brian is tremendous, our athletic director, Donna Crone, who's our SWA and assistant athletic director, and then our president, Jack Shannon. He's a huge supporter of women's basketball and has really helped make that transition go pretty smoothly. And I wouldn't be able to, we wouldn't have had the success that we had this past year without their support, which has been tremendous.
That's awesome. Yeah, talking about, you got hired late in July. Was you able to do any recruiting, or was it already pretty much? Was you pretty much set? And then the second part of that question is, where are a lot of your kids coming from?
Yeah. So I didn't do any recruiting my first year. I took the job the 3rd week of August. That was my first official day. And so the team was there. It was our first day of school. So, it was them. I'm meeting them. I spent the majority of preseason just trying to learn names and where they're from. We have kids from Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. And we returned 7 for next year. So this upcoming recruiting class has been huge. And so we need to bring in 8 kids. And you have a plan going into it. And then COVID hit, which has been very unfortunate. And it's just made recruiting look differently for every coach and even for players. You can't get on campus to see college campuses anymore. And so you're recruiting, you're facing adversity, and it's how you handle it. And, talking with my team and how can we learn from this experience? Adversity is growth. And it's all about, what happens, what's your response, and that's going to determine your outcome. And that's something that was kind of a theme for our team this year as well. So recruiting's gone okay. We have 6 signed, which is super exciting. I'm so excited about those 6 and pretty close with 2 more to kind of finalize our roster. Who we have signed come from Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and then actually Barcelona, Spain. We have 2 coming in from Spain, which I'm super excited about as well. And so just looking to add 2 more, hopefully within the next week or so. And that'll kind of get me moving towards the 2021 class.
Oh, that's awesome. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, you kind of led me right into my next question is how the, all this with the COVID and everything was affecting your recruiting and not being able to get out on, in the gyms, and obviously kids coming to your campus as well. So you kind of led me right into that.
It's film. I mean, film highlights, talking to coaches, talking to the players. Very fortunate that at Christian Brothers, they're doing virtual visits with admissions. And so we're working with admissions and have kids going through those. And then I'll always follow up with a phone call, FaceTime, WhatsApp app for our kids who are international. It's just very different. Obviously, I would love to have them on campus. I also love to have my team involved as much as possible, and that's having them spend time with the recruits. So we've kind of had to work through some of the NCAA legislation that's come out to kind of see how we can get them involved as well. But you just have to be creative. You're sending video, you're sending content. It's very different, and it's very different for everybody. So it's not just like, oh, we're the only ones dealing with it. It's across the nation, across all divisions. And I think we can learn so much from it. We rely so much on these everything's right there in front of us. And so how do you handle adversity, and how do you make it your friend? A lot of people, when it hits you, it's hard. But we've just tried to hit it stride and keep moving forward. Maggie Dixon has been somebody that I've always looked to. She was the head coach at West Point in 2006, and her theme was adversity. How do you handle it? And so I'm just trying to take what I've learned from Maggie in the short time I got to know her, and kind of put that in my program.
And how blessed are we that with the technology that we have at our hands, and to be able to get on, to do what we're doing now, or to see your teammates or to see one of your players or something like that. We're very blessed with the technology.
Yeah, I don't know how we would do this without technology. To be honest, I don't have that solution. I couldn't imagine. I guess you just don't recruit. That would just be very different. I mean, you're writing a lot of letters, but then you admit, that would just be tough. So, I mean, this is, a tough situation for everybody. But we are fortunate with our advances and in our technology that we're able to still kind of have some face-to-face contact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, quite a way to come in as your first year of recruiting. Virtual tours or whatever. How do you get them how do you get them to come there? And you haven't established yourself there yet, so it's even, it's not, you can't go on patch. So you're trying to do it. But it seems like you're doing a good job.
Yeah, and it's the belief in the program and what we're building. Again, I have a tremendous staff. Taylor Bowie, who's been with me since October, she's just done a tremendous job. She's a first-year assistant coach. I'm a first-year head coach, and here we are recruiting in a pandemic. And so, we had talked about recruiting in spring and events to go to, and we had all this planned out, and then it's all gone. And so it's been, fun to kind of work with her and pick her brain on some creative ways. And she's the one that's done most of the virtual online tours. She's just done a tremendous job. And so I'm so thankful for her hard work and her effort in recruiting right now. And then she kind of just tells me, okay, visit's over, and now make the phone call.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you only have 2 spots to fill for next year's?
So we have 6 signed, and we have 2 more to fill.
That's awesome. Now, where do you go? Now with the April and May being canceled already, I guess the first part of the question is, do you think July events will happen? And the second part is, where do you go or plan on going? Are you still going to be heavy in the Ohio market, or do you go other places?
Yeah, I think it just depends on who you ask about July. I think everybody has an opinion, everybody has a friend. I honestly think it depends on what the NBA does and what the WNBA and NBA do with kind of how they handle it. Good news are, though, that they are having the Memphis Grizzlies in town. I've been able to kind of see NBA teams from a different light. We have a lot of NBA teams actually come and practice at CBU, which has been so fun. I've been able to make kind of a connection with some of the Grizzlies staff. And so just being able to talk to them and ask them questions. And then, of course, with the opposing teams that come in, I get to sit in on those practices and talk to them, which has just been a really, really cool experience. But I think with them, you know, possibly starting practice in May, could they play in June? I don't know. It's just kind of hearsay. To go on the question, am I going to still recruit Ohio? Absolutely, yes. Ohio's home to me. I have a lot of connection there. I've been very fortunate to build relationships, you know, with people like you guys. You guys do a tremendous job with your events and do it for the right reasons. And I want to continue to support that. But I will always recruit Ohio, Midwest. You know, I'm recruiting some Ohio 2021s right now. I plan on continuing that, but then also take care of my market in Tennessee, really to establish myself in Tennessee, in Alabama, in Mississippi, Arkansas, kind of the surrounding states. We're in a very unique location. We're in the most southern west point of Tennessee. Arkansas is literally across the Mississippi River. Mississippi's 5 miles away and Alabama's 10. So it's just been really unique because I'm new to the South. I've always been in the Midwest or on the East Coast when I lived in New York for a year. And so just trying to establish our relationships down here as well. But I will always, Ohio's my heart, and I will always recruit Ohio.
That's awesome. Speaking of that, what if you take you back to your high school days? If you're a junior, sophomore, junior, whatever, what do you need to do now? What do you suggest the players should be doing now to get their information to the college coaches? Are you bombarded with films and things from players or, you know, AAU coaches or whatever? What's some of the pointers you would give the players, you know, during this pandemic? They can't, obviously you can't, April and May has been canceled for the exposure world. So what would some of those kids do to get their name out to you, you know, get their information out to anybody?
Yeah, email's huge. Email, have coaches follow up. And when you email, make sure it's personalized. You know, the one thing that's my biggest pet peeve is when I receive just a mass email with, you know, 100 different coaches' names on it. You know, do you really know who you're emailing? Make sure it's personalized. Say something about the program. Do your research. Because that, oh, well, they actually did their research. They mentioned maybe our record or our style of play. You know, do those things because that's going to catch my eye more than just a general email. And then with that, I would always include, you know, a 2 to 3 minute highlight video where you're doing multiple things. Don't just make it, you're just making 2 minutes of straight threes. Like, can you get to the rim? Do you have a mid-range game? Do you have some defensive clips? And then with that, always follow with full game film. I love highlights, but in highlights, you don't make mistakes. And so I love to watch full game film so I can see how you react when things don't go your way. We play an imperfect game. Nobody's going to be perfect. You're not going to make every shot. You're not going to get every single defensive stop. But how do you handle those little intangible moments throughout the game that happens? How do you handle, you know, if your teammate's going to the free throw line, are you giving them high fives, or how do you come off the court? I like to see those things personally because, yeah, you know, a highlight, you're going to make everything's going to look good. But I want to see how you react to things, but when things don't go your way. And so with that, you know, one thing that I take pride in our program with Coach Bowie and myself, and Emily will get this too, is we will always respond. I'm a big believer in that. And then it's back on the player to follow up. So a lot of times we do respond back, and then you don't hear from the player again. And so that's when, like, you're like, okay, did they really mean to send it to me? And so the follow-up, it doesn't take very long. It's something that I make sure that's a priority for us. Communication is one of our non-negotiables, whether that's on the court or off the court. And always make sure that we are making that a priority for our program.
Yeah, that's key. And you know, the body, you know, I kind of go off the body language, you know, what kind of player, you know, we and even the ones that, you know, you're exactly right. Everyone wants to send a highlight tape, but you don't want to see, I mean, you don't want to see a highlight tape. You want to see some other stuff. You want to see how they interact. And that's great for our kids to hear that. You know, because we have a lot of GBA players that watch this stuff and that are on our social media stuff. And that's kind of why we wanted to start bringing some of the college coaches on, just so they could hear a little bit from that side. You know, since everything's kind of on quarantine and shut down, this is a great opportunity for them as well to listen in and kind of, you know, hear what they need to be doing.
Yeah, and it shows how hard you work as well. I want to see those things. I want to see you go for a loose ball and maybe might not necessarily get it, but are you diving on the floor? Are you being a great teammate? You know, not only do I want good basketball players in my program, but I want good people. I want great teammates, because I feel like, you know, a collective unit is so much better than an individual.
Absolutely. And just kind of backtracking a little bit, I know you were saying that, you know, it's kind of hinging on what the NBA may be doing, and I read something earlier today that it looks like they might be trying to do something where they're all in Vegas, and they're all going to play in Vegas at 3 or 4 different locations there. So, you know, it'll be very interesting to see how July plays out for our events and the exposure event.
It will be. And, you know, is it where we get to have these events, but everything has to be live streamed? You know, I think it also too depends on where states are. Ohio's rules are a little bit, or Ohio's reopening regulations are a little bit different than Tennessee. Tennessee's starting to open back up with restaurants and nail salons and so forth, where Ohio has a couple more cases. So it's, you know, I think it all just depends on location of these events as well. You know, what are the regulations that those states have put into place? Again, it's very different, and we'll handle it however we need to. I am, you know, one thing that I'm hopeful for is we get to start school on campus. I want to get back on campus with my kids. I want our family to be together again. And, you know, that was kind of taken away from everybody this spring. And everybody missed their postseason. So they missed their postseason tournaments, but then they also missed their postseason workouts where you could really spend time and get better. And, you know, going into a new program and starting the first week of school, our preseason was built on trust. You know, I just wanted to get these kids where they trusted me. And so we did a lot of those things, because if I didn't have their trust, it was going to be a really long season. So not only for them to trust me, but for me to trust them. And then I was really looking forward to the postseason of really being able to break down some of their skill set, because I was still learning that all year. I was learning their skill set all year. We were working with them individually. And then it's like, okay, now we don't have this. And how do we react? How do we respond? And at the end of the day, I tell my kids, work hard. If you work harder than other people, good things will happen. And control what you can control. We can't control any of this. And so control what you can control. Do your job, what you're asked to do, and don't rely on somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah, it's great advice. What do you look for in a player, and how much do you check their social media out? Do you watch their parents in the stands when you're recruiting? Do you watch their attitude? And then what's the one thing? I mean, do you like the player to be tough, just have a winning attitude? I mean, what's the top priority you look for?
Yeah, the toughness piece, and then also it goes back to, are you a good person, and how do you respond? There's a lot of players out there that can put the ball through the net. There's a lot of point guards. There's a lot of shooting guards. A lot of people who can knock down shots. But what's going to separate yourself? And that's, you know, your work ethic. Are you getting on the floor for loose balls? Are you a good teammate? How do you respond on the bench? Are you cheering for your teammates? And I actually do search the crowd for parents. It's something that I will always try to point out when I'm watching. And I will watch, sometimes I'll watch more parents' reactions than I will watch the game itself. Because I want to see what type of support system or lack of that the player has. And there have been some times where, you know, I thought somebody was really, really good. And then I would look in the stands. I'm like, this might be tough. And so those things are something that I do pay attention to. Social media as well. What are you putting out there on social media? Because you can't take it back. Once it's out there, it's gone. And it's a conversation that I have with our kids. It's something that we monitor our kids and what they're posting and what they're liking. You know, so you may not post stuff, but we can all see what you like. on Twitter. We can, we used to be able to see what you like on Instagram, but we can all get a kind of general idea. And now you have, TikToks out there. And so that is almost more important for me than what your skill set it can be, because I can teach you some basketball stuff. My job is to kind of make you a better player on the court. But it's really hard to teach you how to be a good person if you don't have that already in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what I was listening to Coach Burt from Duquesne on a podcast the other day, and he has a lot of the same things that he was talking about. So I was just curious on that.
Yeah, it's so important. So important.
As good as social media is, it can be just as bad.
It can be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I've had to kind of deal with the situation with that at Ohio Dominican. But then, as bad as the situation can be, can you make it a learning experience? And we were able to do that at ODU with a couple players. I had to come in and have the conversation because I would check it and I'd be like, I need you to do this before Coach Warren gets involved. And then there's other times where she got involved, and it just shows the type of person you are. If you can take that and be able to have those tough conversations, it just shows the type of maturity that you have. And to this day, I can tell you that player, she's graduated a couple years ago from ODU, and she said that was a life-changing moment for her because she didn't quite understand. And then we kind of had to take some extreme measures. And now she is so successful, and I'm so proud of her for where she's been able to kind of go with her life and her career. As coaches, it's so unique. We get to coach the sport we love it. I talked about this, but we also get to help influence the lives of 18 to 22-year-olds generally. And it's their first time they're away from home from mom and dad. It's the first time they're on their own. And so I want to not only develop you as a basketball player, but as a person, and try to help you for your future. I used to tell kids when I was back in my 20s, yes, I am in my 30s now. I was just in your shoes in the recruiting process, and I don't envy any of it because we didn't have social media. If you had Facebook, you had to have a college address. And so how can I help teach you and teach you some lessons that I went through to help you? Because I'm pretty sure I've been in a similar situation as a college athlete and wanting to do all of these things. And so, that's my goal as a coach is, yes, I want to make you a better basketball player. I want to make you a better person. I want to make sure that you graduate and try to help set you up for what you want to do for your future.
Yeah, absolutely. The game of basketball is it's a life lessons. There's so many life lessons that can be taught through the game, and not just basketball, I guess just sports in general. So,
yeah, sports in general.
Absolutely.
For sure. I just know a little bit more about this sport than some others.
Yes. And that's good.
Yes.
First head coaching job. We don't want to talk about, there's highs and lows all throughout the year. We won't talk about the lows. Give us maybe the top two things you're going to remember that happened during the season. What's some of the really good stuff that's happened? And
I would say probably a memory that I will always take with me, and it was so big for our program because our program hasn't been able to do this and hadn't done this in over 10 years. We won on a buzzer beater at Alabama Huntsville. And Alabama Huntsville is a tremendous team, a tremendous program. They were in the NCAA tournament this year, and we won on a buzzer beater. And we had, 7 players playing at the time. And so you always dream of these buzzer beater moments, and it happened. We were down, the game went back and forth. One of my best players got in some foul trouble, came down late game. We're down by 2 with, I think, like 7 seconds left. I call a timeout, draw up a play. They don't run the play correctly. So everybody who's seen this highlight, that is not what I drew up. I'll take any type of, no, my kids made plays. People are like, oh, what was that action you said? I said, yeah, they didn't do any of it. But they were basketball players. And that was one thing that I wanted them to do. And that was the first time that you could really see them believe in themselves. We beat a very good team on a buzzer beater. The floors rushed by our team. I was very fortunate. My best friend, Jillian Parton, was at the game because she lives in Nashville. So she drove down and was able to experience that. And from there, we kind of just started winning. It was our first road win in January since 2007. And it kind of just gave us some momentum going in, and we were able to then beat some teams that had beat us pretty handily the first time around. And so that moment in the locker room, is just seeing it on their faces was the first moment they were like, we can do this and we believe. And so it was so fun. You know, my first game I ever coached as a head coach was against the University of Memphis. You know, to be honest, I was nervous we weren't going to score a point. I was like, oh my gosh, like Memphis, this is 2 miles away. Like this is our exhibition. Here I go, opening up with this. We lost by 10. We were down 6 with 5 minutes left to go. And it just showed the heart and grit that these kids had. And that's what was so exciting. And yeah, we had our highs and lows. We lost some that I don't necessarily think that we should have. And some games that people didn't expect us to win, which was so exciting. And I think it kind of fueled the fire for the future. You know, with 1 game left to go in our season, we were tied for 6th place in the conference. We were picked 12th at the beginning of the year. We were picked 12th, tied for 6th with 1 game left. You know, we needed to win or we needed somebody else to lose. And unfortunately, we were playing Union, who was one of the best teams in the conference and historically one of the best teams in our region. But it was at home, and that's kind of our rival. Union's in Jackson, Tennessee, which is like an hour away. And the one thing that, you know, again, I preach on over and over again is do your job and don't ever rely on somebody else to do it for you. Control your own destiny is what we've talked about. And unfortunately, we lost and another team won. And so it bumped us from 6th to 9th. And just seeing the hurt in those kids' faces that day, I'll never forget. But it also showed some drive that they want to do. And they're like, Coach, that wasn't good enough for us. And everybody's like, oh, you had a great season, 11-13, 10-10 in conference. Like, that's awesome. And I'm so proud of that. I am. I'm so proud of that. But just to be able to see that they wanted a little bit more and they expected a little bit more from themselves is so exciting for our future and so exciting for our program and the direction that we're moving in. So that was really long-winded. I tend to get that way. Did that answer?
That's why you're the head coach.
You know, I love talking about my program, our program with Coach Bowie and Emily. It brings me so much joy. And it's so fun and it's so exciting and gets me all fired up.
Well, that's exactly why I read an article of from your interview. They said there was maybe 100 applicants, and they said you came in and just your spark and your just the fire you had in you. That they just knew right away that you were going to be a good fit for the program, and anybody that knows you knows that that's how you are. So that's ideal, and it's great.
I still play and practice. I mean, I'm still like, yep, like come on. We have a drill that our kids like absolutely hate. They don't really hate it, but I think they hate it. It's called Gino closeouts, and they know if Gino closeouts are on, and it's working defensively. And defense is hard work. Like defense is really hard. But I'm like, yep, I'm in Gino closeouts today. And they're like, they know that they have to work hard because if they make me mad, and Coach Bowie, I know she's on watching, can attest to this, that when I get mad, I get better. And so like, I still shoot it. I still talk crap. But it's fun. It's enjoyable because then they start to do it to me. Coach Bowie was a tremendous player in this conference and in this region. You know, All-American, went to the NCAA tournament 4 straight years. And so it's fun for us to get out and practice with them. And I just love the game. You know, I feel so blessed to be able, this is what I do for a living. I get to coach basketball and impact the lives of young women. I don't have to sit, you know, it's not for everybody. Some people want, you know, corporate America, and that's great. We need all of that. I get to coach a sport. I get to be around athletics. I get to wear tennis shoes. I get to wear sweats every day. And now I get to kind of pick a schedule, which is kind of cool.
Hey, we're getting this Caitlin Beck. I don't know if you know her. She keeps asking.
I might know her. I don't know. I might have lived with her actually.
Yeah.
She's wanting to know, do you make the girls do the ladder for conditioning?
So we do like the agility ladder before every workout. I'm all about the agilities and footwork, getting faster feet. It also helps with conditioning. I've done some conditioning ladders this year that weren't fan favorites, and they were timed because we're always trying to improve. I think that we always need a goal and be able to push yourself to beat that time. I will say the first couple ones I didn't make realistic times, which was I kind of had to just be like, scratch that and be like, yeah, this was just so let's see where we are, how in shape we are. But, you know, there's sometimes we run a lot of double down and backs, which is down and back twice in 24 seconds. I think that's the most hated conditioning that we do. Also, we do, you know, your typical suicides or sprints, but, you know, I want to condition through playing. I want to do high tempo, you know, fast pace. You know, we play fast. I want to play fast. That's where I want our conditioning to come in. I don't ever want to put them on the line and be like, run. That's not fun. That's not productive. And so I tell them the harder you work during these drills, the better shape you're going to be in. And how can we condition through this so we don't have to waste time on sprints? I will never put run sprints on my practice plan. Okay, it's happened one time this year, and that was for academic reasons because the academic piece is important too. But you know, I want to condition through these drills. I want to condition through these half court drills, these full court drills, through these drills that put you at a disadvantage because you have to work harder. I'm a big believer in disadvantage drills. You know, whether it's an offensive disadvantage or a defensive disadvantage, and because you have to work harder, you have to move a little bit quicker. And then hopefully that's harder. So when actually you have all your teammates, you guys can work together and figure things out.
Yeah. And I know just knowing you personally, if you're always full of intensity. So
yeah.
So they're never going to not get intensity from you, you know, on the court, off the court, whatever it may be. So
yeah, I move fast. I'm high pace. You know, the South moves slow. So this has been a really big like I'm quick, and the kids have to tell me that they have to sprint to keep up with me when we're walking into a gym. I'm like, yep, come on, move fast. When you're on my time, we're gonna move fast. But yeah, just love and energy. You know, it'd be dreadful to have to go into a job every day and hate it. I love what I do, and I love my kids. I think I can have this energy with them. It's because of them themselves and their personalities, and they're wanting to get better. I run up and down the sideline. I jump up and down the sideline. I squat on the sideline. Sometimes there's a picture of us at Union. I was sitting on the scores table. That's probably not something you should do. But I get so caught up in the game, and people are like, do you ever sit down? I'm like, nope, I'll never sit down. I don't use the stool for timeouts. I just squat. And I wear heels for every game. So, you know, I've really worked on my leg muscles there. Yeah, I feel like, you know, if the more energy I give, the more energy they'll play with. And I want to feel their energy. I want to be involved. You know, I wish I could play another game myself, and I'm in my 30s. I would be hurting, but I want to be as involved as much as possible and be able to show them my love, because I think it helps correlate with what they do.
Yeah, 100%. And your passion is evident. And I mean, I'm sure it's going to carry on throughout your years, and you're going to have great success.
Thank you.
And looking forward to next year, what's some big names on the schedule? Are you playing anybody from Ohio? Are you getting close to Ohio to come back to play a game here? What's your schedule look like?
Yeah, well, we open up with Memphis again. You know, it's something that we will probably always play Memphis. You know, very fortunate to be able to kind of build a relationship with that coaching staff. And they do a tremendous job, and they take care of us. And it's literally 2 miles down the road. So it's nice. We'll also, play Rhodes, who's the Division III school in Memphis, in some type of fashion. Last year we played them in a regular season game. This year we're going to scrimmage them because I did fill our schedule. You know, I think everybody wants to play you when you haven't been very good. And I said, yeah, bring it. Like, I want to play you. I want to play the best teams. I want to prepare us for conference. I also will play on the road. Our first 6 out of 7 games are on the road this year. And my kids know I love playing on the road because I can control what they do. I control what they eat. I control when they wake up. I can kind of control the environment and kind of eliminate some distractions. But I give them time. I give them time to themselves because they need time and I need time. I need time to focus, and I need my me time to kind of settle down and get things taken care of in my head and write on pen and paper. We are not coming to Ohio this year, unfortunately. We did come last year. We played at Cedarville. I think the score was 78-73, lost by 5. It was so fun because I had, so many family and friends there. Supporters from Ohio Dominican came, which was awesome to see. My high school coach was able to bring his high school team there. nieces and nephews, they were able to come and kind of see me in action. We play a lot of GLVC schools, and which is, they play in the Midwest region, with the conference that Drury was in, region that Ohio Dominican was in. So we play Umsel, we play Maryville, who, are on the border of making the NCAA tournament. We play Harding, who was in the Elite Eight in 2017. Was able to kind of build a relationship with their coach when Ohio Dominican hosted the Division II Elite Eight in 2017. I'm so excited to play them. Henderson State's another tremendous team that's back on our schedule. They play fast, they're long. They beat us pretty bad this year by like 18. Southern Arkansas is another school that's going to be a tough one for us. We'll open our season after Memphis at Embry-Riddle in a crossover with the Sunshine State Conference. So we'll play Embry-Riddle and Rollins. So looking forward to that. But just playing a lot of regional games because those are so important for Division II and being able to get into the NCAA tournament. And very fortunate that the Gulf South Conference, our conference, is super competitive and really strong. We sent 4 teams to the NCAA tournament this past season. So 4 out of the 8 teams came from our conference and our region. And I was very fortunate with my relationship with the NCAA. I was selected to be the South Region rep. So I was actually the rep for the NCAA this year at that regional tournament at Lee University, who's in our conference. Marty Red does a tremendous job there. Mark Campbell does a tremendous job at Union. Stephanie Hilton at West Florida. There's some tremendous teams in our conference that makes our schedule tough and competitive. But it's just so exciting to play because it's always going to be competitive day in and day out. And that's what I want. I want to compete. I want to play exciting basketball. And then, of course, I want to win.
Now, Jess, just kind of going off that and thinking ahead of next year, I know you said you got 6 signed and you're looking to sign 2 more. So I'm assuming that you've lost some kids to graduation, or are you just building?
I'm just building.
Okay.
So we didn't have any seniors graduate.
Okay.
We lost a couple of players who are going to pursue options elsewhere. And that's okay. Cause the first thing I told these kids is I didn't recruit you, and that's okay. It's okay. We're kind of do this thing. You'll always be a part of my family. I mean, I'm still in communication, with those kids. We have finals this week and I'm still going to talk to them. I'm still going to be there for them. So we have 7 returning. We return our leading scorer, Bryn Lytle. She was actually the 4th leading scorer in the country last year. She averaged 24.5 a game. We returned Taylor Williams, who was our starting point guard, Darcy Duran, who started at the 3, and then Kelsey Atkins, who was our starting 5. Kelsey will be a 5th-year senior. And so just excited to have her experience. We've added 1 junior transfer this upcoming season, and then we've added 5 freshmen so far. So it's going to be a learning experience of getting us all together. We're going to do a lot of team building stuff and getting to know each other. Hoping to add at least 1 more transfer that's and possibly another freshman or another transfer with these last 2. But we have a lot of experience coming back, and we have a lot of experience coming back that want to win and want to get better and want to make a name for ourselves in our conference. And that's what's just so exciting. And I've talked to them over and over again about, like, this is your team. You're going to be outnumbered with the newcomers. And how are you going to handle that? How are you going to lead? Because, do we have to kind of reteach everything, which we'll do a lot of teaching stuff, or what can you take care of now? So they're excited for the challenge. They're excited for these new players. They're, the ones that have signed the NLIs, they can actually speak to now. Can't really talk to them until they sign, but very fortunate that we're past that April 15th date, where we have our kids who have signed their NLIs.
What a great opportunity for those young kids. Usually when you're bringing those numbers in, it's because you've lost a lot. So it's a little bit different in your case. So what a great opportunity for those kids to learn from those upperclassmen.
Yeah, and an opportunity to play. I'm going to play the best 5. I don't care if you're a freshman or a senior. The best 5 and the most productive 5 are going to play. And that's earned in practice. That's earned off the court. Are you taking care of things that you should be doing? And this past season, our starting 5 changed all the time. What was your productivity in practice? And if you're not going to work hard consistently, then why should you play? And we have those conversations. And so, it's you've got to work and you've got to earn it. I'm a big believer in that. My philosophy is compete and find a way. Compete every day. And if you want to play, find a way on court. And I think the kids have really bought into that. And our incoming kids have really bought into that too. Is like, here's an opportunity where, I can get some playing time if I work hard, and I am productive. And I'm just excited to be around them. I'm excited to teach them, excited to love on them. I think that's huge. We can, get caught up in so much of the stress of being a college athlete, and just being able to show them love that they don't get because they're not at home anymore. I think is so important for success.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Coach Carmack, Brian Mahoney here asked the question, how much time do you spend on skill work during your season in practice? Do you split up each of the positions? Thanks, Brian, for the question.
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time on skill development. I would say during practice sessions, when it's planned in practice, we do guards and posts. I've taken the post players. I feel like I'm 6 foot, even though I'm only 5'5". But Coach Bowie is a tremendous guard as well. And so we split guards and posts. Sometimes we'll be together. We'll do some separate things. And then we also encourage our kids to get in for individual sessions throughout the week with a coach one-on-one or a group of 2. We will practice like 2 hours a day. We get a total of 20 hours in the week to work with these kids. And so we use around 16 to 17 of those hours as a team, which leaves you 3 hours of time where you could come in and get some skill work done with a coach individually. And it's something that I am a firm believer in. I don't schedule that for you. It's for you to come in and ask to do on your own. I feel like if I have to say, okay, you have to be here at 9 a.m. for a 30-minute workout, do you really want to be there? But if you come to me and be like, hey, coach, can you come to the gym at 9? Can we do a 30-minute session? Can we work on this? Or what do you think I can work on? Or can we come and watch film? I'm a big believer in that. And our kids did that this year. Game days. Coach Bowie's in the gym on game days at 7:30 and 8 a.m. Putting kids through a workout individually, getting those reps in, I think is so important. And it's lost during, the course of a practice because you have to do so much team stuff as well. So extremely important. We will do it in practice, and then we also do it on our own. And it's something that we stress to do on our own throughout the week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, that opportunity for those kids to be able to come in one-on-one is something that, has been a great change and things that you're allowed to do. So, I know when I spent my time at Muskingum, that was the same situation. You try to get the kids come in and get one-on-one because that's where you can get some work done. As you say, sometimes it gets lost, during the practice as far as because you're doing so much team stuff. And especially as the season goes on and on, it gets more and more.
It's because you're worried about scout or things you have to work on, and you don't want to push them too far because their bodies are, they've been on this grind for so long. Basketball is the longest sport season-wise. We go from the 4th day of school in August until hopefully playing in March. That's a really long time span. And so it's a lot of I don't say NBA says load management. No, everybody's going to practice every day. Everybody's going to play. But it's, how can I want to be productive. I don't want to have a 3-hour practice just to say I was on the court for 3 hours. Their attention span is gone. And then quite frankly, mine is gone as well. I want to get on the court. I want to be productive. I want to be fast paced. If we get what we need to get done, then we get what we need to get done and we get off the court. And then we do ice baths. We do injury prevention before every single practice. Dr. Selena Budge out of Columbus, Ohio, has a tremendous company, Stability Enhancement Systems. We use her for strength and conditioning and for injury prevention. And we do those things outside of the court as well to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies.
That's great. I'll tell you, we usually keep these interviews at 30 minutes, 25 minutes. But we've had great viewership, 30 plus people watching it, most of the time, and up to 40, I think, at times. So that's awesome. They're feeling your passion. We definitely appreciate it. And we're so excited and happy for you there. We know you're going to have great success. And, we're just glad you got to come on the show, talk a little bit to your Ohio friends. We'll definitely keep an eye on you. And
if you want to bring GBA to Memphis, come on.
That's what I was just going to say. At some point, we may need to do that.
Yeah.
You got courts. If you got courts, I think we'll travel.
I'll take care of you.
You know our staff will be happy to get into some barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm sure Main Street, there's a lot of things to do.
Absolutely.
We may need to discuss that further here pretty soon. We're putting together. Right now, we have all the time in the world, so we may be giving you a call.
Yeah, for sure.
Set up 2021. Yeah. I don't know. We're hoping we can get a season going here sometime and be able to play, but I don't know. So
yeah,
I guess it's day to day. So we'll see what happens. We're ready. We're ready for tournaments every weekend up through July, I think, right now, and we could go into August, September, depends, and then depends on what the NCAA does as well with, if they're going to open it up or let, there's a lot of unknowns. What's the college? Some of the big colleges run all their camps, and that's where the high schools go in June. So what's happening there? You don't know. We don't. And are they, for us in Ohio, are they going to expand? June and July? Are they going to let the teams play together in August? So
a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, it's crazy. John, do you have anything?
No, I was just going to, once again, we're happy for you. You worked hard over the years to get to this opportunity, so we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for taking the time to join us here tonight, and obviously we're going to stay in touch with you, and hopefully at some point we can expand and maybe get something down there.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Thank you much, Nation, as well.
And if there's ever anything that we can help you with in Ohio with players and stuff, as you know,
let us know.
Just let us know.
Yeah,
for sure, 100%.
You shouldn't have said anything about coming to Memphis, so John will be in touch with you this week. So,
hey, plenty of stuff to do. We're opening restaurants, so we're moving forward.
We may have to take a trip then.
We're on it. So,
all right.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Your fan club was here watching, asking questions, and we had this is one of the best interviews we had, so we definitely appreciate it.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jess. Take care.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye. All right, guys. What a great interview there with Coach Jessie Carmack. She just finished her first season there at Christian Brothers University down in Memphis, Tennessee. We've known Jessie for a long time, and she was at High Dominican, and she's been a great help to GBA over the years, so we wish her all the best of luck. You
could see her enthusiasm. She's going to do well. So
absolutely.
Absolutely. She's going to do well at what she does. And just to mention, our schedule is we're back tomorrow evening with Coach Mike Launis from Wheeling. I don't know. Are they Wheeling University now?
It is Wheeling University now. Yes, It used to be Wheeling Jesuit. Now it's Wheeling University. They are
Mike,
still,
Mike as well has been a great supporter of GBA. He was at Owens University or junior college.
Yep.
That was in the Toledo area, Perrysburg. He won a national championship or two, was always in the hunt, done a great job, and now he's rebuilding here in Wheeling and doing a great job there. So we look forward to having him on, talk a little bit, see how he's going.
Back in the day, he used to have the Rim Rockers. He used to play, have the program played in GBA all the time. So we're looking forward to talking to Mike as well. So
Owens had a great facility, and Wheeling does as well. So he's doing good things. He just packed up and took on the challenge, and I think he's getting some pretty good recruits and things in Wheeling as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, we appreciate everyone joining us here tonight, GBA Nation. Make sure if you've not, go check out Christian Brothers University. We'll get some information up on our website as well that you could check out. And, any players out there listening, make sure you go back and listen to this. Coach Carmack had a lot of great information, for you guys to listen to and some pointers for, moving forward, especially during this time. So we want to thank you once again. Thank everybody for joining us. Jeff, thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, live here on Facebook and YouTube. Take care.